Hey, what's up, peeps? Again, thank you so much. Those of you that are watching the Preacher's Lounge these last couple of weeks, I want you to continue to share. I want you to continue to like them, continue to make certain that you are evangelizing this, because this is about us as preachers. You know, what do we do? Who are we? I think one of the episodes we mentioned a difference between potential and reality, right? So, you know, all of us have potential, right? But there is a reality about us. There's a real us. And so when you look at me, I know you may see me in the robe or in the custom suits and the ties and all that kind of stuff, but really, this is who I am at home. This is what I am on Monday mornings. You know, I'm lounging, I'm chilling, I'm listening to my records, I'm Netflixing. Shout out to them. They ought to give me some money for that. And yeah, right? So I need everybody that's watching this to hit like button. As a matter of fact, let me know that you're watching. So while you're on your devices right now, let me know where you're watching from. Let me know who you are. Whatever city or state or where you're watching from, hit those buttons, type in there, post, type, tweet, whatever you need to do. Let me know where you're watching from so that we can continue to give you a shout out and say thank you so much for being a part. And so with that being said, I want to jump right into what we were talking about kind of last time. And last time was really somber, right? And it was really getting deep into my dark past and past life. Well, I had to give you that. And if you didn't watch that, watch the previous episode, okay? So you'll see a lot of that about me or hear a lot about me. But I also I think that it's important that we not only share the dark side, but we also share with you some of the lighter moments and some places that have been great to us and great for us. And so if I were to entitle this message, Preachers, y'all know how we do. We get this subject and we get this title. My little spiritual grandson would tell me, don't miss this shift, Jeremy Jr. Well, this is what I want to say. Don't miss this moment. Don't miss your moments, because every moment in your life, I believe, and I think you should believe, are ordained by God. I think that the Word of God that tells us that our steps are ordered by the Lord. And so every step that you take, every moment that happens in your life, it's purposed by God. It's what He designed and desired for you. And so you have to make certain that even in we talked about the failures, we talked about the past, we talked about the struggles, all of those things that's happening in your life. You still have to recognize those God moments. You still have to recognize those moments where God has really favored you. And so there's some many areas and many pivotal moments in my life where God has simply favored me. And so while I talked about that 9-year-old boy that grew up to be 21, there were some pivotal moments in my life then. So while I was 9 and growing up, I loved music, right? So, yeah, like any typical PK, I'm a PK. So dad and mom made us do everything, right? So we had to play the drums, we had to play the organ, we had to sing, we had to scrub the toilets, we had to, yeah, all this stuff, you know. But I really enjoyed singing. I really enjoyed the choir. And I was really focused and really intentional about music and music ministry. And I enjoyed this. I enjoyed singing. I wasn't the best singer like my brother and my sister is and all of them are, but I could hold a note, right? And so, but the one thing I really enjoyed, one thing that was really my passion, and that was directing. I enjoyed teaching and directing music and directing choir. And so I did that. Matter of fact, my brother started a junior choir, right? And this junior choir, or this youth choir, it was a community youth choir, and I was one of the directors. And I so enjoyed that. I was a kid. I don't know, 14, 15, 16. And I used to direct the choir. We would do a lot of traveling. One of the highlights of our travel was, y'all heard of the Bobby Jones show. Y'all remember the Bobby Jones show in Nashville? Yeah. And we traveled to the Bobby Jones show. We were on TV. I was one of the directors, and that was really one of the highlights for this community youth choir. And we used to travel all across Arkansas and the surrounding region, in Tennessee and Mississippi and other places. And we just had a ball. Not only did we have a community youth choir, but we had a junior choir in our local church, and we were the bomb. I'm telling you, it was 40 and 50 of us deep. We was deep at Jones Temple. And we still talk about that from time to time when I see some of those that were in the choir with us. So those of y'all junior choir members, y'all, we got to get a reunion choir. Matter of fact, I need y'all to get on your device right now, hit like, and let me know where you are so we can possibly get back together. But that was some fun times during that time. While I was in school, I think I shared the last time that I was one of the leaders in our class. I was the president of our class. Even before that, I was president of many different organizations, from Theta Mu to Boys and Girls Club. I mean, I don't know. Everything we did, I always wanted to be out front, and so I was always a leader. I remember one time we were doing some kind of a school play or presentation where every class had to do the presentation. Out of all the students, the teachers chose me to be the leader, chose me to be the one that walk around, do all that. So I was always out front. I was always in a leadership role or a leadership capacity. And I take pride in that. And I think those are great moments that help me with who I am now. I mean, I didn't miss those moments. I seized those moments because even my father and mother, they taught us to be the best that we can be. They taught us to do what we can do. Okay, let me give you this one story. So, I wanted to wear some jeans. I wanted a particular pair of jeans, some new jeans, some designer jeans. And at that time, there were holes in those jeans, right? That was the fad. So yeah, y'all wearing holes in your jeans now, but I was doing that way back then. So, I mean, hey, I was cool then. So anyway, I put some holes in those jeans. It was pretty expensive. My daddy saw that. Needless to say, it did not go well. But this is something that he said that really changed my life. While he was like, y'all, I call it beating. But you know, I ain't supposed to say that. I'm not supposed to say that. Now, listen. Do not, hear me. I am not condoning the word beating, okay? All right, so I'm not condoning that. I'm just telling you how it felt to me. That's all I'm telling you. That was some years ago, and I think the statute of limitations probably, you know, far gone by then. So I can't even call the police about that now anyway. So anyway, let's get back to what I was saying. But I had these jeans and I cut them up. My dad wasn't happy about it. So while he was being, he said this one thing that totally blew my mind. He said, "I am waiting for your purpose to show up." I said, whoa. I mean, I know I was crying, I was beating, but that one thing rang in my head. And I mean, I'm 48 now, and it's still ringing in my head. I remember my daddy said, "I'm waiting for your purpose to show up. I'm waiting for what I taught you to show up." Man, that gives me chills now. It's like, wow. God is waiting for us in every moment to show up. Man, that's amazing, man. So all I'm trying to tell you is every moment that you're in, every step that you take, right? Every decision that you make, those are moments. Those are areas of transition that God is saying, listen, every one of those, your purpose, your moment, who I've destined you to be ought to show up. Matter of fact, y'all put that in the comment. Tell somebody to show up. I know this is the preacher's lounge, but y'all know we preachers got to preach, y'all. So you just tell somebody to show up, right? So everything that I did, I always wanted to be good. I wanted to be a leader. I went to Boys State, and I was a leader in Boys State. I mean, everything that I did, I wanted to, and I was pushed to be a leader. Now, I need to pause there and tell you that while I was leading and while I was having great moments, I was still having to deal with what was on the inside, right? I had to make certain, or I should have made certain, that what I was doing was not masking or trying to cover up the hurt and the pain. Because while I was leading, having those great times, those great moments in singing and directing and all of that kind of stuff, I still had to go home and sleep, right? So many times at night, I was crying, I was confused, I was worried. I had validation issues about who I was, self-esteem, all of that. So I really pushed hard to try to be perfect and try to be the best at what I am and what I do. But it still blessed me. So literally being a leader since I was a kid, went to college, and I went to Arkansas State University here in Jonesboro, and loved the school, had a good time in school. But this wasn't my first school. I went to UALR. A lot of y'all may not have known that, but when I first got out of high school, I went to UALR for my freshman year. Yep, I had a scholarship, academic. I took the ACT twice, maybe, once or twice, but I got a 27, 28 at that time. And I should have taken it again so I can get a 32, but I didn't. I was like, hey, that's pretty cool. So I had an academic scholarship, I had a choir scholarship, had a band scholarship. I mean, I was doing it. I went off to UALR, and instead of me doing what I was supposed to do in school, I was a typical freshman away from school. I drank, promiscuous, all of that kind of stuff, right? I mean, in Little Rock back in that day, that was in 94, 95, back in the day, that was really tough days where gangs were really tough at that time. And Little Rock was probably one of the largest gang-infested cities, not just in Arkansas, but per capita. I've heard that it was one of the worst in the country. And so, I was there in Little Rock, and, foolish, doing things or whatever. And so my dad and mom, they said, listen, we're going to get you out of this place, because you doing more fraternizing than you are doing study time. And so I came back home, went to ACC for a couple of years, got my AA degree. Then I matriculated to Arkansas State, and Arkansas State had some great years here. I think it was 95 or 96 when I came to Arkansas State, 95 or 6. And so here at Arkansas State and Jonesboro, I had a great time. So I came, at that time, I had recently gotten saved. I was recently a minister, gave my heart to the Lord, but I also entered the ministry. I'm just giving you some light moments, right? So I had some dark times last time, but these are really good moments, because I started preaching in 96. And I started preaching in 96, man. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. That's almost 30 years ago. Man, it's 27 years. I've been preaching since 96. And I started preaching in 96. I was a minister then, and then I was ordained in 99. So shameless plug. So shout out to my brother and my sister. We were ordained together. Shadon Duncan and Sheila Lacey. Y'all know Dr. Lacey, and she has her own vlog, so I want to point that out. She is Real and Raw, so look it up, REAL, look it up, Real and Raw, Dr. Sheila Lacey. She has her own vlog, and we appreciate her, love her. That's my big sister. And then Elder Shadon Duncan, who's also my big brother, who's doing phenomenal work in the mental health field, mental health capacity or field, and doing phenomenal work for Ariza Health. And he the big boss, he big time boss stuff. He make more money than I do. So anyway, but I'm proud of my brother and sister, Shadon and Sheila. And so we were ordained together in 99 at Fullness of Joy. Yeah. So shout out to my pastor, Bishop Adrian R. Rogers. Love you, sir. And Fullness of Joy, and co-pastor, the late great co-pastor Susan Woods Rogers, and who we love dearly, still love her and her memories. But we thank God for them, because they help teach us and raise us to be great men and women of God. I was 21 at the time, right? So leaving my mom and dad and looking for another father figure. So we were there and raised up in a great environment where the Lord was there. We met the Lord, and so many things that I was taught in that capacity. He allowed me to use those leadership abilities that I had, that I even led the youth department for some time, for over 9 years. I was a part of it, then I was able to lead it, and then I was leading, or he allowed me to start the armor bearer and adjutancy ministry of the church. So I don't think I was named this, Bishop Rogers. I don't think I was named this. But I was the first chief, but he never called me chief. He just called me Coleman. Do what I say, that kind of thing. And, but those are some fun times. Those are moments of highlights for me, because while I was driving and serving my leader, while I was there and driving him when he would go and preach, I'd not only watch him preach, but I also watched how he handled the people before and after the service. I would often listen to him over the phones and how he would negotiate and would share with others and would pray with others. Even while he's going to do one thing, I was watching him and how he was so passionate and compassionate about the ministry and about his family. It was amazing during those times. And I mentioned those because a lot of these back behind the scenes, a lot of these behind the scenes moments are times that we miss, but they were so valuable to me. That's why I'm doing this, y'all. That's why I'm doing this Preacher's Lounge, because it's these type settings that's not only real, it's not only us, it's not only where we can just take our towel off, our robe off, but these are many times the greatest teaching moments too. I mean, greatest opportunities to learn not just who other people are, but learn who you are. Because while I was listening and growing in ministry and listening to a lot of the things my pastor was showing, even outside of the church and outside of the pulpit, I would often speak to myself and wonder and imagine how I would treat people, how I would do this or how I would do this or that based on what I was learning and what I was getting into. I mean, like my pastor, he has such a huge personality, right? I mean, he was jovial and laughing and joking. I mean, he was a great guy. Even outside, I was like, man, this is what I want to be. I want to be laid back. I don't want to be so stiff and bothered. Yeah, I said bothered because unbothered, you're not acting like that, right? Bothered folk, where you stiff and stoic and mean. And I often wonder, because I see a lot of preachers out there. So take this, and matter of fact, write this down if you need to. Just because you got on a tie in the pulpit, don't mean you got to have on a tie at home. Okay? You can take that tie off. I promise you, you can. You can take it off, y'all. Take it off. Matter of fact, y'all post type and tweet it. Take it off. Take the tie off. Take it off. And I'm just saying, you don't have to be all stoic and be yourself. See, this is me. So really, for real, I mean, I'm really chilling because in the pulpit, y'all know I'm just kind of straightforward. I don't do a whole lot of moving and all that kind of stuff, but when I'm at home, I'm watching TV. I really don't want to be bothered with nobody. And because I talk enough, so it's not like I like to talk all the time, but still, I don't like to talk about the Bible every day. I mean, I know that's probably making some of y'all mad, but for real, I mean, sometimes we can be a little too deep, And I think God did not call us to the depth. He just called you to be you. And so when you be you, guess what? There's nobody that can beat you being you. Nobody. Nobody can beat you being you. As long as you're the best you can be, nobody can beat you. As long as you're the best of you. Do you have to study? Absolutely. Do you have to prepare? Absolutely. Do you have to do all of those things for Sunday morning in the pulpit? Absolutely. But you do have to take that collar off. You do have to take that tie off. You do have to take that robe off. That really is the real preacher. I mean, we can stand behind the pulpit all day and say that we're preachers. But the real preacher is how you look behind that collar, behind that tie. Man, I know I'm throwing a lot out at you, y'all. I know it's a lot thrown out at you. I told you earlier, I don't want you to miss the moment. Find the good moments in life. Find those moments that are a blessing to you that you can hold on to grow. Yeah, there are other moments that are tough. But even, those moments when you're by yourself, those moments when you're not in the pulpit like now, I'm just myself. These moments right here are really what makes you. It's really you, the real you. And can I tell you this? And this is all I got to say on this one. People nowadays, while it's after this pandemic, people nowadays are not missing content. They're not missing content. I mean, you can get on your phone, your device all day, scroll to 25, 50 services and messages all day. You can get content all day long. They're not missing content. They ain't missing that. Just get on, matter of fact, Google it. Everything you want to know is on Google, TikTok, YouTube. I mean, everything, right? So content is not what people are looking for. People need connection. That's why I'm doing this. I want to connect with that preacher that thinks that getting money, having a pastor's anniversary, having a BMW or a Mercedes-Benz is the life of a preacher. Baby, as my big sister would say. Dude, no. That's not real preaching. Real preaching is times like now. I mean, preaching is 30 minutes, but real preaching are those other hours that you have to yourself and what you're doing. Those are the moments that you don't want to miss. And that's what people want to connect with. That's what people want to know. So that's what we're about here at the Preacher's Lounge. We're here to connect with you and just share with you and let you know that being a preacher in the pulpit is one thing, but being a man, being a woman, being a child of God behind or outside of the pulpit is a whole nother. So until next time, I want to see y'all right back in the place at the Preacher's Lounge, where we are sharing what we believe to be the word from God. Not on the pulpit, y'all, but in the office, in the lounge, right here. This PC, your host. God bless you, love you. I pray that the blessings of the Lord be upon you, that he continues to make rich and add no sorrow in your life, because he's one God, the Father of all, who is above all, through us all, and in all. And may his grace be with your spirit. Peace. Shalom. God bless.